Well, hello and welcome to the Gauge Look and another Radious faction unit overview for you. And we're looking at the one and only, the mighty Crockcar. He's in a bit of a casual position right now, kind of just chilling out. What a beautiful bastard he is, though. I know I say that about a lot of people, but there's something particularly beautiful about Crockcar. Anyway, let's just go over the standard rules. We're not focusing too heavily on lore. There's usually always a basis. I'll read the descriptions and the unit type and attributes out, and we'll fight a very quick battle against some zombies. Look at that lovely background as well, they're terrific. Anyway, so there's a few different types. Obviously there's not a huge range variety with Lizardmen, but there is like Monstrous infantry, Monstrous units, flying units, so we'll go through it in a fairly standard order, but we will start here. Okay, these are actually two of my favourite units in the game. Now, don't know why, I just love them. So these are Skinks. They're shielded, anti-large, vanguard deployment and aquatic. Great crests as they are known and a leader of many raiding parties and have become skilled at scouting, tracking, ambushing and skirmishing. Their skin is more varied in colour than normal Skinks. Well, that is pretty cool. And they do look cool. And these guys are just the melee variation of them. And honestly, they've got so much capability. They're fast, vanguard deployment, hold their own in battle, decent weapon strength, decent melee defense. It's all very good. Okay, we have the Saurus Totem Warriors with spears. These guys are beautiful as well. So these are armor and shielded, anti-large, charge defense against large foes, and predatory senses. Of course, they do have a rampage element as well. Good armor, not very strong melee attack, but is flaming and decent weapon strength. When a Saurus warrior was killed, when a Saurus warrior has killed 20 foes, he has accepted it into one of the 3 warriors: Eagle, Jaguar, or Alligator. That's pretty cool. I don't know what mod I've got on that has changed my font. I like it, but it's putting me off. Saurus Totem Warriors. Anyway, and these are Saurus Totem Warriors with clubs. Just a melee version of them. Really like them. Almost identical. Bit more weapon strength and melee attack. But obviously not the anti-large element. Very, very cool units. Kind of mid to high tier units. Very capable. I wish they had a little bit more speed, but I'm not going to complain. Cohort of the Black Club. Armor and shielded, melee expert, frenzy and predatory senses. So these are definitely an upgrade on these guys. Better armor, magical melee attack, and of course they have a frenzy. Melee defense is superb, weapon strength is pretty good. Oh, can't read all this. The cohort of the Black Club had existed. They bore the same black obsonite weapons of their predecessors, spikestone clubs, and often inlaid with bands of gold. At the head of the cohort could be found the same two-headed snake totem, a standard that has seen Lizardmen victories upon every continent. Let's have a wee zoom in on these guys. I have had some criticism about not letting you see the units, so these guys look awesome. Absolutely awesome. I love their clubs. They look cool. Very, very good. Okay, let's move on. We have the Honor Guard of Hexoatl with halberds. So these are quite similar to Temple Guard. Very high armor, extremely good leadership, nigh unbreakable I'd suggest. Weapon strength is very good with bonus versus large and armor piercing, and melee defense is good. They're obviously anti-large and charge defense against all. It was only fitting for the most ancient of all living Slan mage priests to be guarded by the eldest spawnings of the Temple Guard. Dark scaled with light blue crests, the richly bedecked Honor Guard of Hexoatl were always the most stalwart of their tenacious kind. Now what's interesting, it's the same in vanilla, is the really elite melee infantry don't stand up too well at the Lizardmen against, say for example, the Chaos or even some of the Dark Elves and things like that. And it's the same in vanilla, and you know what, it doesn't really matter with Lizardmen because you've got such incredibly powerful monstrous units. But as a tabletop gamer, it does surprise me a little bit. But let's have a little look on this, and that's nothing to do with the Radious mod, that's just how Creative Assembly have went down that line. But as I say, it doesn't really matter with the Lizardmen because you're fine. But look at this, look at these buggers. I actually have a small Lizardmen army on the top shelf. You can't see it on my screen. It's somewhere about there on my shelves. These guys look awesome. I love these clubs, by the way. Absolutely love them. Yes. Anyway, enough of focusing on them. And that here are just the variation of melee infantry. So we've really got spears and melee infantry, one of each for each one of them. I'm very impressed with these guys. I really like them. Let's move on to the cheeky little skinks. Now, a lot of people write off skinks, but I tell you, especially these guys, skink braves with blowpipes. Look at this. Just check out this. Vanguard deployment, poison attacks, aquatic, and the fire whilst moving. Their melee attack is good. Their armor is actually not bad. Their missile damage is anti-infantry, and it's poisoned. Its range is 90, so it's not good, of course. Many skinks dwell in the deepest jungles and trackless swamps of Lustria. These braves are fast, agile, and intelligent. Although they lack the brute force and aggression of the Saurus, they are good at shooting volleys of arrows or javelins. Now that is an interesting query. Now I know why the modders haven't added Skink Archer, because they don't have the movement set. But why do we not have Skink Archers? I know it's probably not from the newest edition, but I have Skink Archers behind me. Anyway, that's a moan, nothing to do with this. And these are the Javelin variation. These are at first glance, missile damage isn't great. And it isn't, to be honest, for a Javelin. However, it does have armor sundering and armor piercing. So they will do a hell of a lot of damage to an armor piercing. Obviously, quite light on missile damage, but I'm sure they will make up for it. Brave it. And you know what? These guys can actually hold their own in melee combat as well, to a certain degree. So, very impressed. Really like my skink units. I am very biased, however, having an almost entirely skink army at one point. Sky cohort with javelins, armor piercing, anti-large, fire spell movement, and death from above. These guys are superb. Their weapon strength is terrific, missile damage terrific, the range is okay, ammunition's good. They're not going to hold up in melee combat terrifically well, but you really shouldn't be using them. Obviously, they've got very light hit points. They're kind of comparable to the gyrocopters. They were led by Tic-Tac-Toe, Hexatl's Master of the Skies, for his steed and those of his formation. Tic-Tac-Toe chose pterodons from the Black Sun Cliffs. Those lime green beasts were known to be especially vicious, and they were trained to carry heavy weights, which they would always drop perfectly on target. Very useful units. Don't underestimate these units, especially in PvP. I don't see a lot of people using any sort of Sky Bolas or Sky Cohort because they focus on the monsters, but Lizardmen are OP in a number of ways, with the exception being they're probably line infantry, although they're not weak either. So, and these are Fire Leech Bolas. These are basically the fire version of these guys. Really good anti-infantry. Obviously a little bit less ammunition, a little bit less missile damage, but still very, very good. Especially if you find those guys with regen. Okay, some cavalry. Cold Ones of Sotek. Look at these big, bright green and gold bastards. Absolutely beautiful looking. I love the look of these guys. I don't know how well you can see them. I'm sure the YouTube compression isn't helping, but these guys look awesome. They're all carrying human skulls though, bit questionable. Armour and shielded, anti-infantry, armour sundering, and predatory senses. High armour, armour sundering, and extremely good bonus versus infantry. Those able to ride Cold Ones charge headlong into enemy lines, thrashing with crude but effective clubs. Okay, and the Horned Ones of Itzel. Armour and shielded, anti-large, poison attacks, and predatory senses. These will have a decent go against any other anti-large as well. I have tested them a few times against Blood Knights and so forth. They're decent, very decent. Great armour. Obviously with the poison does extra amounts in the bonus versus large. Much rarer than other Cold Ones, these virtually extinct Lustrian warriors fight with preternatural swiftness that belies their size. Belies their size? I don't know. Horned Ones of Itzo. Yeah, you don't want to put your cavalry against these, or any monster units against these. Okay, and we're not finished here. We are going on to our Monstrous. So I probably should have grouped these in two different groups. But we'll start with the Sotek's Croxigors. Okay, so these are a variation of Croxigor. They look really cool, actually. Look at this. I have had a graphical upgrade since I last done these videos, so hopefully this is coming through better. They look very cool, though. Sometimes, unfortunately, YouTube compression does change some of this. What you probably can still hear, however, is my fan and my aircon. It's still very hot. Apologies. Okay, armoured, anti-infantry, poison attacks. Their melee attack's not actually that strong, but their weapon strength is very good, and the poison is very handy. The perfect shock troop smashes into enemy lines, devastating their confidence by inflicting many casualties. I agree with that. They are perfect. Look at this guy. Look at the pose he's in. Oh, this should have been my thumbnail. Look at this. Big dinosaur bastard. I might even take a screenshot. Please forgive me. Okay, armoured anti-infantry, poison... Oh no, sorry. Armoured army infantry and rampage. Very good armour. magical melee attack, insane weapon strength. You're not going to want your lord fighting this guy. First come the vibrations, next the distant sound of destruction. Finally, carnage is unleashed. Good luck. Now, we probably will be starting a bit of a lore series going forward. There's a lot of lore going on at the moment in the YouTube world by some very, very good people. But I'm going to focus a little bit more on minor known lore. And probably one of the things we're going to focus on, hopefully, is why there's no dragons in Lustria. So we can talk about some of these guys. Okay, Living Bastions. Armoured, armor-piercing melee and causes terror. Imagine this causing terror. You're so cute. Okay, and obviously Rampage. Very good weapon strength. These are actually really early units as well. Very handy Living Bastions. They soak so much up. Mighty hulking reptiles. These Living Bastions are wild and untamed. Better watch out. Sounds like a song. And what have we got here? I have a horrible feeling some of these are going to come through a little bit funny in YouTube compression, but I just want to tell you, these guys look superb. I know they can't change the assets, but there's obviously recolors and things, and it looks very good. Armoured, armour piercing, anti-large, and armour sundering. No surprise this is armour sundering. Don't think much armour would hold up against these. Very high armour, good leadership, reasonable speed, melee attack has got the armour sundering, weapon strength is high. These mighty savages are armed and armoured by design. Woe betide any being who encroaches on their territory. Well, you're a bunch of fantastic bastards. Okay, so standard zombie battle. Let us just go. I am eager to see some of these guys. I don't think I sent my monsters there, did I? I didn't. Okay, let's get into this mode. And as always, we'll leave it a few minutes and just see who does the most kills. Probably these guys if they get there in time. Come on, skinks. There he is. Look at this guy. Now that, my friends, is a cinematic. Amazing. Might have to turn that into a GIF. Let's just do a bomb as well. Okay. What a charge. Did I miss the Carnosaur charge? Probably did. Okay. Oh, look at him. It's just insane, the Lizardmen sometimes. Lizardmen and the Tomb Kings are the two armies you don't want to come up against in my opinion in PvP. Right, let's have a little look, see how everyone's doing. Skink Great Crest, did amazing. 41. Go through these quite quickly. Wow, low pipes. These guys are interesting because they won't do a huge amount against something like this, but they'll soak it up. I'm surprised you're doing well. Not doing huge amounts of damage anyone really, other than Saurus Totem Warriors with clubs. On a guard, we'll start ripping this up quite easily as well. It's actually all about these blowpipes. It's quite insane. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Sure. Let's just have a quick look. Everyone's doing pretty rampant damage. Monsters are never going to do huge damage to groups like zombies. It's kind of what zombies are good against, apart from the Sotian Struxicors. Very impressive generally though. And there is the big guy himself. Can you just, I don't know, just fire so we can see that? I know we don't normally do this, but I love Croc. Maybe killed a few of my own units, but Croc Guard doesn't mind. Anyway folks, thanks for joining. I think we can all agree Lizardmen and Team Radious have done a fantastic job with the Lizardmen. Obviously they start off really good, but oh my god, these guys. I mean, they might not have killed too many units here, but they've just destroyed them so utterly that they've disintegrated quickly. In fact, this is now probably the quickest ever battle type I'd suggest. Most of their army, and if I was moving them, we'd only have one. Anyway, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, check out the Radious team, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.